welcome to the first episode of the Real Talk podcast, a roundtable panel discussion series where we chat to REA customers about the latest news, events, and trends in the Australian property industry. Hi, my name is Tara Christianson. I'm a digital strategist with REA, and I actually have a background in residential real estate. Today, I'm so excited because I'm joined here by three property experts to talk about our first topic, which is Queensland property market. So I have Andrew Adnam, I have Tanya Roplin, and I have Grant Smith. And I am going to start with Grant with our first question. How would you describe the current property market in your area? And let people know where you're from.
I'm Grant Smith from Century 21 at Buderim on Queensland's beautiful Sunshine Coast. And like a lot of southeast Queensland, I think we're still seeing an undersupply of property for the unprecedented demand that's coming to our region. And I, in my opinion, I think the draw card for buyers and renters as well to our region is the lifestyle that it offers for families. We've got beaches, we've got acreage, we've got so many diverse types of property in a beautiful climate weather where when we've been a bit more concerned over the last couple of years about our space and being at home, our buyers are looking for something that has a bit more space, offers those lifestyle items that we sort of think about, such as pools, additional rumpus rooms for children to play, a bit of a backyard for kids to kick the ball. And with spending more time at home, I think it's become more vital in people's decision buying or tenanting to make sure that the home suits their lifestyle, being more aware that we're spending more time at home.
Awesome. And are you seeing, is there any inquiry that's increased more from the southern states, or is it Queensland based, or is it a mix, or what are you seeing?
In my opinion, the market really started to change for us in about late November last year, where a lot of buyers were awaiting those new properties to come on the market pre-Christmas, as it usually does in a traditional market. However, last year, those properties didn't come to market, so it left all the buyers that hadn't secured a property frantically panic buying off the shelf, so to speak, to secure what was ever left, which meant we started the beginning of 2020 with virtually no stock levels. I know the top three agents in our suburb started this year with zero available properties on their books.
Oh, wow. And Tanya, are you seeing something similar then from your developer clients?
Yeah, for sure. Fear of missing out is a real thing. From off the plan, established, right across the board. The demand is incredible, inquiry is incredible, and the velocity of sale is really, really fast.
And what do you think are the pain points? Is it lack of land for people? Is it buyers? What's the pain points for developers at the moment?
Land availability is very, very slim. And so we do have disgruntled buyers. Pre-approvals on loans and ballots are normal run-of-the-mill.
And ballots are?
Ballots are, put your hand up for a block of land. There's only, 61 in Pollara, in places like Ripley. They're out-of-lying suburbs, and demand is hot.
Wow. And are you seeing similar in the commercial, or what's going on in commercial? We've heard a lot of doom and gloom.
Yeah, so I work in the city sales team, and we've obviously had a bit of a big disruption with COVID. We've seen a lot of people that have been working from home. So we're starting to see that shift back into the city now. With life's being pumped back into the city. We've seen incentives have definitely increased. And we've got, with cost of debt running down, we've seen yields tighten for good quality stock. And things with a long weighted average lease expiry with good covenant are in hot demand.
Now, are you seeing that both from buyers, are people actually buying properties, or are they just looking to lease, or what's happening?
Owner-occupiers have been sitting on the fence somewhat, but we've got a lot of cash that's been sitting on the sidelines with interest rates where they're at. People are really wanting to find investments that are yielding much better than in the bank. And the southern states, we're seeing yields at 100 basis points tighter than what we are up here.
Wow. And has work from home affected that at all?
It's definitely been a big shift. The companies now have to offer a lot of flexibility to their staff, and it's a pretty tight labour market. We haven't seen any real wage increase, but we've obviously seen a huge increase in pricing, more on the residential. Industrial's been performing really strong, and office, they've been tightening somewhat.
Okay. And how about developer? Has work from home affected even like what people are looking for in new build or in any of the amenities that they're looking for?
I think companies will eventually move to a hybrid work from home, flexible depending on the company and depending on the employees. But I suppose that flexibility allows people to be at least working from home 2 to 3 days a week, but they still need that connectivity to their office. So it does allow, I still think that we will see demand into coastal areas, lifestyle areas, and definitely outer-lying areas that offer that affordability. Commutes are great in Queensland.
Is it? And how about for you then? Is the work from home, what are the amenities that people seem to be asking for most? Is it the acreage? Is it pools? Is it like, what are the things that people are looking for?
It's definitely very lifestyle orientated because I think that's what the Sunshine Coast has always been synonymous for. The latte sets of Noosa right through to the beaches of Mooloolaba, the cafe lifestyle, out to our walking of Mount Coolum, right through the Glasshouse Mountains. It's an incredible lifestyle location. And I think one of the key attributes to the Sunshine Coast that provides appeal is that you're a 1 hour commute essentially from Brisbane. And I think that's a radius around most CBDs around the country, is not having to have that 5 days a week in the office is allowing people to do either 2 or 3 days in the city. And even if it's a 2-day, have an overnight in the city at either a friend's place or family. But that commute of within an hour, I think, is seeing a lot of growth in all of the regions and suburbs that would be within that radius of a CBD. And for us, it's Brisbane.
And do you think that that's also affecting, or have you heard as that affecting the regional areas as well for any of your lines of business? So in residential and developer and commercial?
From land availability, outer-lying regions like Ripley Valley and Pollara are doing incredibly well. Demand is very, very strong. But I think it's also those infill areas, or if you would call it, that growth corridor between the Gold Coast and Brisbane is going gangbusters, and that's down to livability. And once again, that fantastic commute, you can travel to either the Gold Coast or Brisbane, incredibly fast.
And commercial, do you see that as well?
Yeah, look, there's definitely a shift that's been evident through the market, and it's just a matter of time. We believe that you need to have that collaboration. So allowing flexibility and allowing that sort of pressure valve for people to have that escape and work from home is something that's real, and whether it continues. But I think allowing flexibility does give balance.
Okay. And what are you seeing, or I guess this is my favorite probably question, is what do you think sets the Queensland property market apart from anywhere else? And I'm going to start with Grant, because you're already a great salesperson for Sunshine Coast.
I think, in my opinion, and we've said it for years, as the Southeast Queensland corridor, and that's not isolated to the Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, or even the Gold Coast, but that Southeast Queensland market, I believe, has been an underperformed market in comparison to our Sydneys and Melbourne. And it's actually taken this change, I guess, with COVID over the past 2 years for people to realise just how livable and viable either working remotely or minimal time in an office has become. So in that recent 2 years, it's been a real spotlight on our market here in Southeast Queensland. And I think everyone's benefited from that, as well as had the ability to enjoy what we have to offer. And that has seen that strong northern migration, particularly over the last 12 months.
Is that same in that developer space, do you think?
Sure, I agree. I totally agree. Livability is a huge thing that Queensland offers. And we all, it's so cliche, but it's so true. We offer accessibility to different parts of, accessibility. We affordability, we offer great weather. And that true coastal surf before you go to work is a real thing for many, many people, and it's totally achievable.
And in that commercial side, what do you see? What sets every Queensland apart?
Yeah, further to complement those comments, I couldn't agree more. I think also the announcement of the Olympic Games, the amount of infrastructure that we're going to see off the back of that, the fact that the federal government will be going dollar for dollar, we're going to see, I think, a lot of growth. And, you've only got to look what happened to Expo. This is a much bigger scale, and it really sort of is great to put Brisbane as really a new world city
And do you think that's going to affect then prices? Is it going to affect, do you see that where are people going to be interested? Where are they coming from? Is it going to be southern states? Is it overseas? Where are those people coming from?
Well, I think you see the value proposition compared to Sydney and Melbourne across all markets. It's a real, I guess, draw. You know, we're going to see a lot of migration once the borders open up, and it's going to be really interesting to see it all unfold.
How about y'all? What do you think about the whole Olympics and the future and what all of that holds?
I think any spotlight that's put on a region, it's marketing. It's no different to being in real estate. You've got to market something for people to be aware of it and maximise its value. And I think that's what we're all going to see in relation to our region of southeast Queensland again, is having that international spotlight on our region. We'll only see strength, I think, in both developer, commercial and residential real estate, with people becoming just aware of how amazing it is to be part of the southeast Queensland corridor.
And in the developer space?
Yeah, migration, I think I think it's pent up. I think we've got a lot of migration that we're still yet to see, both interstate and internationally. I think the Olympics is going to draw a lot of people in. We have a lot of jobs already. There's a shortfall, particularly in construction and building, tradies at the moment. So we definitely have the jobs, but the infrastructure build prior to the Olympics will even lift that job availability even more.
And what do you think about prices? So look at prices now. So I want to know kind of what you think about prices right now. Where you think, I know, put on those magical hats that all of your clients always want you to put on, right? And look into that crystal ball and tell me what you think is going to happen. What do you foresee in not just the near future, but then, of course, leading up and into that Olympics time period? I'll start.
I think we're arguably at the bottom of the yield curve. I think when you look at returns, the yield that you're seeing is extremely tight, and that's a reflection on cost of debt and liquidity. Look, I think we should see some growth off the back of big infrastructure projects and the like. But look, there is definitely more value, I believe, up here. When you look at on rate per square metre, you compare it to our southern states, and it's just across all asset classes. There's a big margin there. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And
developer side, the prices now all the way into kind of like crystal ball territory.
I think there's a lot of room for growth. Definitely a lot of room, whether it's established market yet again, or whether it's off the plan. I think there's a lot of room there for growth right across the board, no matter what product we're talking.
So I certainly believe that the major growth in pricing in the cycle, which has been unprecedented, was from November last year through to around about June this year, of where the major price increases took place. Since June this year, I've seen a consistent, steady price on price increase for each sale that we're making. So in the short term, I don't believe we're going to see any negative growth, and there will be consistent price increases, which are generally powered by supply and demand. And right through to now, the supply isn't strong enough to withhold the demand. So naturally, with that pressure environment, you're always going to see that growth. How long that pressure of supply versus demand lasts, we don't know. But what I do believe is I think the prices of where we're at will certainly continue through for the rest of this year and well into 2022, with borders releasing. There will be, in my opinion, another wave of people that weren't quite confident enough to buy something sight unseen, but still want to make that lifestyle move, because over the past 6 months for a lot of them, that thought has been in the back of their minds. And with borders hopefully opening in weeks to come, that will become a bit more of a real viable option for those purchasers from down south.
Wonderful. Well, I think that's the crystal ball that hopefully everybody's looking for, and the news that they all want to hear, maybe, so for some of them anyway. At least it sounds like there's hope. And that's always a really good thing to give in real estate, isn't it? Is hope. So thank you so much for your time today. I do appreciate it. Grant, Tanya, and Andrew, I do appreciate your time, and thank you very much.